Torn between loyalty and duty, this FBI agent must decide whether taking revenge for his best friend's murder is worth losing his job. Two FBI special agents, Richard and Donald, are on a stakeout watching mob boss Sparazza's house. Sparazza is notorious for creating a criminal empire so vast that arresting him would cause the FBI to apprehend a lot of notorious criminals. However, Sparazza's health is failing and he is on what might be his deathbed. Soon the detectives learn that Sparazza has placed a $1 million bounty on a guy called Buddy Israel. Israel is a Las Vegas magician who has always wanted to be a gangster. One day he becomes acquainted with Sparazza and gets the backing he needs to commit crimes. Israel starts executing robberies all over, knowing that Sparazza will protect him. Unfortunately, multiple warrants for his arrest are issued and he posts bail with a law firm. As soon as he's released, Israel skips town. He's at a hotel while his agent negotiates a deal with FBI Deputy Director Locke. The bounty on Israel's head is too good to ignore, so several assassins want to eliminate Israel. Among the assassins are psychotic neo-Nazi brothers Darwin, Jeeves, and Lester Tremor. There's a mercenary called Acosta. Acosta is so fearless and ruthless that he's rumored to have chewed off his own fingertips to avoid ever being captured by the police. Sparazza's underboss hires two female assassins, Charisse and Georgia, while Sparazza himself hires a mysterious Swede, and his mission is to bring him Israel's heart. Finally, another assassin and the master of illusion called Soot finishes the list. Locke holds a special meeting to inform the FBI agents, including Donald and Richard, why bringing Israel alive is the top priority. Sparazza has done so many things in his life, like all mobsters, but in this case he is especially needed as he killed one of their own agents. Freeman Heller had undergone plastic surgery to change his appearance so he could infiltrate the Sparazza Mafia group as an undercover agent. Sadly, he was found out despite the new face and eliminated by Sparazza. Making a deal with Israel means that the FBI will have enough evidence to bring down Sparazza's entire network. Locke asks Donald and Richard to get Israel and bring him into protective custody. Meanwhile, the law firm that paid for Israel's bail money hires guarantors Jack, Pete, and Hollis to find Israel and bring him back so he can be imprisoned. On the way to where Israel is hiding, the bondsmen park their car and step out, hoping to come up with a plan on how to get into the hotel unnoticed. They plan to get into the hotel as security officers. Suddenly, a car blasting loud music passes by and then drives back. The Tremor brothers shoot at Jack and his friends, instantly killing two of them. The Tremors then throw the bodies off a cliff, not realizing that Hollis is alive. Hollis manages to seek help in a nearby farmhouse but has 3 fingers missing due to the gunfire. News of the dead bodies quickly reaches Donald and Richard. The two realize that assassins know where Israel is hiding, so they have to move fast if they want to save him. Donald volunteers to rush into the hotel and secure Israel, while Richard goes to the cliff and helps identify the deceased. Donald quickly gets into the hotel, not realizing that several assassins are already there. Laszlo had successfully eliminated 3 of Israel's top guards. He then uses his equipment to make a mask of one of Israel's top security men, Hugo. This grants him access to the hotel floor where Israel is. At the same time, Acosta eliminates the head of security at the hotel and then steals his badge, posing as the security head. The Tremor brothers also arrive wearing security guards' uniforms, so they have no issue getting into the hotel. Laszlo kills a few of Israel's men, but he doesn't find Israel just yet. Israel is in the bathroom when he's approached by his second-in-command, Ivy. Ivy is furious as Israel had agreed to snitch on him to the feds as part of his plea deal. Before he can continue questioning Israel, Ivy is subdued by the hotel security. He's accused of eliminating Israel's men, and Laszlo retains his position in the hotel since his disguise isn't found out. Donald gets into the elevator with Acosta. Midway, he watches Acosta carefully and sees his chewed-off fingers. He immediately realizes that he's sharing the elevator with an assassin and slowly grabs his weapon. Unfortunately, Acosta senses he's been made, so he also reaches out for his weapon. The two men fire at each other several times. The gunshots cause the elevator to stop, trapping the Tremors and Georgia. Georgia pries open her elevator door and finds Acosta and Donald lying in the elevator, heavily wounded. She communicates with Charisse, who has taken a sniper position in the opposite building. Georgia reports that both of the men have security badges, but one of them must be lying. Richard hears this information since Donald's earpiece is working just fine. He calls for backup as he quickly gets to the hotel. He gets to the elevator with several agents intending to eliminate Georgia. Georgia realizes that she's trapped, so she uses a pen light to signal Charisse to start shooting at the agents to give her cover. At the same time, Ivy and Israel's security team are waiting for an elevator when something happens. The Tremor brothers exit the elevator and start mercilessly shooting at Israel's security team. On the floor below, Charisse starts taking out the FBI agents, causing a fierce shootout between the agents, Charisse and Georgia. In the process, Acosta shoots Georgia, but Donald shoots Acosta. Richard quickly pulls Donald out, who succumbs to his wounds while Acosta is also apprehended. Before they can get Georgia, she hits the close button on the elevator and ascends to the top floor. Charisse had seen Georgia get shot and she assumes that she's dead. This makes her very angry and hurt, and she continues shooting at the FBI agents viciously. Gunfire continues on the top floor, with Ivy managing to execute 2 of the Tremor brothers. When Georgia arrives, she finds the last Tremor brother about to kill Ivy. She holds him at gunpoint, allowing Ivy to break out of his bonds. The Tremor realizes he's at a disadvantage, so he quickly takes advantage of Georgia's weakness to escape through the elevator. Ivy is grateful to Georgia for saving his life, and he carries her out of the building through the staircase. The two run into Richard, but he is distraught over Donald's death and he lets them go. Back on Israel's floor, he gets a devastating call from his agent. It turns out that Locke had refused to give Israel the deal. This makes Israel devastated as he realizes that without the FBI's protection, it is only a matter of time before he's killed. He grabs his weapon and thinks about killing himself, but stops. Laszlo finds Israel in his depressed state and wants to knock him out, but Locke and his agents get into the room. They apprehend Laszlo, still in disguise, and take Israel. Richard comes into the hotel room and starts demanding to know what had happened. However, Locke keeps silent and tells Richard that it's over. Taking advantage of the conflict, Laszlo steals a weapon and frees himself. He then removes Hugo's face mask and escapes. Similarly, Acosta pulls out a knife and wounds the medical personnel, taking him to the ambulance so he can escape. Darwin, the last of the Tremor brothers, disguises himself as an FBI agent and is allowed to leave. However, he's approached by Hollis, who has bandaged his hand and wants vengeance for the death of his friends. Elsewhere, Charisse sees through her rifle that Georgia and Ivy have emerged out of the building safe and sound. Sadly, her frenzied shooting at the FBI agents a while back has made them find her position and a gunshot is heard. Richard leaves the hotel and walks through the streets in a haze. He still doesn't understand why Israel is so important that so many people had to die to bring him alive. Several questions ring in his mind, and he decides to get the truth from Locke. He goes to the hospital where Israel is and is shocked to find Sparazza there as well. The truth is now revealed to Richard by Locke. It turns out that FBI undercover agent Freeman Heller, assumed to have been eliminated by Sparazza, never died. All along there had been issues with Freeman, and it was feared that he was undercover for too long, so the lines between law and crime became blurred. The FBI sent agents to kill Freeman, but he survived. Instead, he underwent plastic surgery and adopted a new name, Sparazza, and is the leader of a very successful mafia. Another twist is added to the mix. Israel is Sparazza's illegitimate child. Sparazza had him with a prostitute and never took care of him. When he learned that his health was failing, Sparazza befriended Israel. The mysterious Swede Sparazza had hired is actually a prominent heart surgeon. Sparazza intends to have Israel's heart transplanted into him. This truth hits Richard like a ton of bricks. The FBI wants the heart transplant to continue, as having Sparazza in custody will help them get so much more information than Israel could ever give. Richard voices his disagreement, but Locke tells him that if he doesn't like the way the FBI handles their business, then he's free to leave. After Locke leaves the room, Richard walks into the operating room where Sparazza and Israel have been kept on life support for the transplant. He locks the room and then unplugs the life machine support for both of them, causing them to die. He places his weapon and badge on the floor, signaling that he has quit the FBI. Locke and his men try to get into the room, but they can do little to help Sparazza or Israel.